grinding out of alien experimentation and exploitation. Earth, we have received your call. From the far reaches of time and space, your parallel humanity comes the Galactic Federation of Light. And we are here now to assist you in your evolution to the new Earth. We have so much to tell you as we broadcast live on your progress, on your journey to the light of truth and the love of light. You are now listening to Tales from the Ship, only on Real Revolution Radio X.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tales from the Ship. I'm your host, Andy Moreno, and I have my brother, the one and only, Franco DeNicola. How you doing, brother?
Good, brother. How you doing? It's been a bit of a journey for us to connect because we've attempted a few times, and
right.
Seems like things weren't aligning and so forth. But hey, we know that everything will unfold the way it needs to unfold, exactly when we're ready, and the collective is ready for it. So here we are. We finally get together.
I tell you, it's all on the divine time. Everything is on divine time.
So true.
It is true. You know, when it doesn't. How can I put this? You cannot force the manifestation. The manifestation will come out. We try to manifest the show, you and I. You know, we have several bumps in here and there, and stuff. But in general, manifesting, right? Manifesting is a process, brother.
Yeah, exactly. And we're beyond manifesting now anyways. We're basically at this point in time when we really look at what's going on. We're kind of reshaping, aligning, accessing parts where we're always putting together exactly what needs to be. So there's way more in the works than what we've given credence to or believed up to this point in time. So we're basically designing every step of it, every second. So
do you have any manifestation techniques that you want to share?
Well, that's a good question. The way I look at it is, if I feel something is out of line, or I would like to bring something into alignment. So what I do is I connect with whatever that may be. And so I would feel it within myself. Now, I like to use dream state or envisioning it. Right. And then when I'm doing that, I kind of see it lay out, but I don't just say, okay, this is what I want. I look at it right now. My preference is this scenery, this alignment, these people, and whatever else is going on. And then when I tune into it, I also ask, is this right now the most highest good for myself and the collective, or the stages that I'm going? Sometimes you get a feedback, or a lot of times you get a feedback. Yes. Sometimes it's not yet. Other times is, well, we have to wait for other alignments, and then that will reshape in a different way. So I don't really work at the fact that I'm pushing something out. I mean, we all have preferences. But we have to understand, Andrew. Preferences are based on where we are right now. And sometimes we're not always looking at the bigger picture, or we think we have an idea of a bigger picture, but really this is where we allow all aspects of ourselves to be involved. We have an innate consciousness coming from our own body, which is an extension of Gaia. And that's necessary because it will align your body with the planetary plan that we're all part of. Of course, the human entity comes in and it looks at the bigger picture of the human experience and how that's going to be most serving. And then you have your multidimensional part, which is basically what people call the soul, their highest aspect of themselves, which is multidimensional, which is also here for a very purpose to kind of express something very uniquely at this particular time. So there are times that we would think would be ideal, but is it really ideal? So it's not like you're asking for permission, say, from your body with Gaia and through the human entity. You're gonna bring them all together and say, okay, this is what I see, envision in my perspective and how I have my field for this point in time.
Right.
Can this fit in there? Does it need to be adjusted? Is it looking at the bigger picture? Because the thing is, you don't want distractions. You don't want to deviate your resources to create something that you have to discreate afterwards, or it becomes a lesson for you in a sense where, yeah, okay. Because many times we've created things that, well, I don't know if that was all, for the best. I mean, we learned from it, absolutely.
Right.
But what we are looking at right now, Andy, is that we want to be super efficient. And from a higher perspective, which encompasses all of it, we don't want to get distracted. We want to stay focused. We want to stay completely aligned, and to kind of create something and go off left field at this point in time and then have to retract back or make adjustments and so forth is not staying with the wave. You don't want to get off the wave. You want to ride the wave, and you want to work with the wave the way it needs to go. Okay. So
Correct.
that's the thing. So if you connect with yourself and you have a certain idea, like a lot of people like to manifest and say, well, okay, would be great to have money. It would be great to have this, great to have a good relationship, whatever it is, right?
Right.
We have to look at it. How much of it is really, really us, first of all, that is actually desiring that? Or are we kind of picking up thought forms or picking up what we see from others and say, oh, well, look, I see this. I would like to have it in my life. And how much of it is actually trying to fill in a hole? Because a lot of times we want to manifest to fill a hole because we may not be happy, or we
Right.
feel alone, or we feel that in some way, if I have this, things are going to be better. The point is, that's the old way. That's in that old inverted matrix where you have to put a lot of effort and time. You got to do vision boards. You got to map out all this stuff. And that's very different than where we are right now.
So let me ask you a question. Manifestation is nothing but energy that you put in your desires, technically.
Yeah.
If that sounds correct?
That's yeah, in a way, yes.
In a way, right.
Yeah.
So, and you're consenting, because we're living in the world of consenting things. You have to you got to give yourself permission to consent yourself to do something, to get something.
Right.
It's the energy that you put into it. Now, at this, on your last statement, the very last statement, you say that we're not on the inverse matrix.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the positive matrix. So where are we now in those terms?
Well, the thing is, one of the key things right now is playing out is the fact that we need to get genuine. We need to be our true self. That encompasses what people call manifestation or creation or alignments and so forth. Because most of us have been living under ideas and concepts of what means what is good, bad, right, wrong, failure, success, all of that stuff that we've had before. Many of us have been living a life that we've programmed and adopted from the media, from the systems, from everything else. But the thing is, the push right now is to be genuinely ourselves, to be a true reflection, a true experiential being of yourself. When we do that, what we put our focus in, what we actually shape around us is very different. See, when we are in the illusion that more is better, when we're in the illusion that I need to have this to feel good, or that I'm successful, or I'm going to be accepted, or I'm going to feel unempty, or I'm going to feel full, or whatever it is, those are just constructed collective narratives that were from all the inverted matrix. But when people start connecting with themselves, you notice a lot of people start shifting not only their lives, but where they put their focus, what's important. All of a sudden, materialism changes very drastically in where they put their energy, their focus on, and so forth. That meaning what do I have in my life? How many things I really need in my life? Who do I have in my life? Who do I want to play with or not? So
so you have to run an inventory of yourself.
What's that? Sorry?
So you need to run an inventory of yourself. So
yes. And that's easy to do when you connect with yourself. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I say put it in. I just reinforcing what you're saying. Put it in perspective. What you need, and what you really don't need, and the illusion of having more, like you said, it's true because we've been indoctrinated by the old system for a long time that having more is better.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't mean that you're going to be in lack of course, if you want to look at it that. It's not about that. It's about clearing out all of that other stuff and look at it. What really, really serves me at this point in time, and how can I be best aligned with what is in movement? I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen it for many people that used to be, living in homes and this and that and held on to it for many years, have cleared out a lot of things, kind of rented mobile homes or whatever, or purchased something, and have been traveling and moving around and so forth, because the whole idea that I need to be stable, be here and so forth. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for many people, they started to, like you said, look at things and what do I really, really value? What do I really want to do? Or, rather than what I think and what others have told me and so forth. So you will see that people are refining their relationships, because as your energy changes, and the reason that we allow the energies to change is because we want to get very fine-tuned. And what does that mean? That means that you want to have the relationships that is conducive to where you are, and vice versa. So you will find that friendships that you were able to maintain before, you're not going to be able to, or you have no interest to do so, because they're at one level and you're at another level. And if you engage to a certain degree to that level, basically you're aligning to their energy, which is fine if you want to have that experience. But many of us realize that I don't need to play there anymore. I don't need to play in that place. So people are refining their relationships. So you'll notice that the relationships in one way diminishes or reduces to the amount of people. And then some other people will align along the way, but there's no necessity to fill the void. It's more of a complementary connection with someone where you feel that way, rather than saying, oh, this is what I need to do, and I need to have this, and this, and so forth in my life for me to feel good or valued. And this goes one other way, another level, Andy.
Yes.
There are also people that feel, I don't know what my purpose is. I need to find what that is because I feel like I wasted my life and so forth. And that's coming up for a lot of people. Well, the thing is, we'll get to know where we are at or what we need to do next, because the idea of a purpose and to give life meaning is another illusion. Once we are true to ourselves, you will feel guided where you want to put your energy, your efforts, what connections you want to create, what's your next step, right? Because you're not going in as a lack of saying, I need to find my mission, I need to find my direction, I need to find my purpose for me to fulfill. You want to get fulfilled by basically being you, and then all the other things open up. So these are some of the really profound changes that are occurring within ourselves, and many of us are recognizing it because we where we used to put a lot of our energies and so forth have started to shift in a big way, and that changes how we manifest. So we're basically going from manifestation, because let me just clarify this. Manifestation is where you take what is already been available up to this point in time.
Right.
Like, oh, I want to manifest money. I want to manifest this. I want to manifest that. But that's because we've seen others have it and we've labeled it and defined it. If I get that, then I'll be happy, whatever it is. But that and many people have brought that into their lives and not felt satisfied or felt that it was, aligned with them.
Right.
What we shifted into is what we call envisioning, using imagination and creation. That means we have a new world in us, which is not reflective of the old world, because if you're looking at the old world and trying to build from there, you're still reinforcing the old world. That is crumbling within us, and it has crumbled. Really, we're the only ones holding it up. So if we go into that imagination and you go into the dream state, you go into the creative state.
Right.
Now what you're doing is you're unpacking, you're projecting forward, you're designing a world that feels natural for you because you have a pure vision and knowing and can feel that world within you. Maybe not reflective right away, but if you start putting your attention into that,
Right.
with no expectation, and you start to see that and feel it and dropping into it, in that it starts to change your immediate reality and all the extended reality, including the collective.
Right.
Well, that's where we're at now.
Well, this is exactly. Everything is changing. Your point of interest, your what you were focused on the past, and a year, 2 years ago, I'm not focused on that anymore. For instance, I don't know if I told you this story, but somebody invited me to go and watch DC United at the stadium, at the brand new stadium, gorgeous, here in Washington, D.C. So I went to the stadium, and that did not feel the same. I feel like I was not fitting in anymore.
Right.
I feel that the same point of interest, my energy, put it into that, the crowding, the jumping, the this, the that. Not anymore. It wasn't there anymore because my energy is focused on something else. That doesn't give me anymore. That doesn't like you said. Whatever you do, whatever you put your energy, is it for your higher self? Is it for your highest good, or what is it you're doing? So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that changes because as your energy changes, as your consciousness changes, you're going to feel attracted, or what we say attract, you feel drawn to different experiences. And like going to the stadium and so forth, the participants there were at a different frequency. They still were a reflection of your old you, and you've already changed, and you are changing every moment. So now, you're not going to feel like you fit in there. You also feel like, hey, I don't get the excitement I used to get because your energy is very different than what
Franco,
it was. Yeah, go ahead.
And another question that I got for you. Okay, for those that we raise our vibrations, and I think I saw my brother Ted Medina once talking about this. What is that we do? We're in the fifth dimension, and then we scramble. Let's say you got the pipe one night, and then you lower your energy. He wasn't saying that example, but he was like almost talking about the same example I'm giving you right now. Which I say hello to Todd, whatever he is, I send him love and light. But I gotta tell you, so what happened, brother? We're no longer in the on the inverse matrix. So we're in this matrix, which is much better. You're still making mistakes, but your frequency somehow is anchored into this high vibrational state. Is that correct?
Well, there's a difference between vibration and frequency. Okay. So we have a band of frequency that we play in. Okay.
All right.
So the frequency doesn't change so easily. Okay. In the sense, within the band, what we do is we experience life and we keep notching up the frequencies, right?
Yeah.
So you're basically adjusting and going higher and higher. When you get to that point and you've been there for a while, you actually go into the second band of frequency. So that's your frequency. That is your frequency is based on what source level consciousness you're accessing and what you tuned yourself as a minimum to start off with. Vibration changes very easily, because if you go and get angry, your vibration drops. If you go into fear, your vibration drops. If you consume something of low vibration, it will drop. Will it affect your frequency? It can. It doesn't fluctuate as easy, but if you put a lot of focus on it, your frequency band goes down. The lower your frequency, less consciousness is involved in your experience and less in your navigation.
Right.
So this is the thing. So a lot of people get caught up in addictions and so forth, and what it does is puts a ceiling on their frequency, and at times it just keeps dropping it lower and lower. And then the lower their frequency, then they have a less access to how high they can go with vibration. So they'll tend to play in the lower categories, because vibration doesn't have a limit. It can go as high or low. I mean, the low, yes, has been already trimmed, and that was collectively done. But at the same time, we still could go fairly low. So yeah, and you know what ends up happening, and this is what people, and even Todd was referring to, you come to the realization, the highest aspect of yourself says, okay, time to go and use the higher band of your frequency. Therefore, we cannot entertain what you're drinking, what you're eating, what you're exposing yourself to, what egotistic emotional charges you're playing with. It's time to let that go, because at that point, you want to play in the fifth dimensional consciousness. You can't do it in the lower frequencies, right?
Right.
So when we're talking about when we're talking about consciousness, dimensional consciousness, because there's two things. There's dimensional consciousness, and then there is density. Okay?
Right.
Dimensional consciousness means that you're accessing certain dimensional levels of consciousness. So if you go into a fifth dimensional consciousness and above, the importance of being in physical form and giving so much power to the physical form and to what everybody else is doing or something like that is reduced drastically, because you're tapping into more source consciousness, even though you don't drop the body and you still give value to the body, but you don't let you're not focused solely on the body experience and the feedback you get. That only becomes a part of it. When you're playing in organic, I'm talking about organic 3D, it's still using higher consciousness, but it puts a little bit more focus in experiencing itself in the physicality. So there's more reference given to how it feels to be in physical form, but it's also inputting a certain level of consciousness in the physical representation. So one of the things I use is that in organic 3D, you're a human being having a spiritual experience. In 5D organic, I am a spiritual being having a human experience. See, it's just slightly different. There's nothing wrong with either one. Okay.
I'm gonna put that message for you in a little bit so you can read it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
You got invited. Just a preamble of what we're talking. This is Jesse Hall. He has a show it's called The Missing Link.
Oh, cool.
He's inviting you to The Missing Link.
Oh, okay.
You already accept his friendship in Facebook. I want you to get connected with this guy, with my brother Jesse. He have many speakers, Sasha Stone, David Icke. Now he wants you there. So he wants to invite you.
Cool. Thank you, Jesse. I'm a little behind in my messages, but I'll dig it up this either this evening or tomorrow, and I'll definitely respond.
I'm just passing the message.
Okay, thank you for that.
Hey, listen, I love this explanation about the bands of frequency and the vibration and the density.
Yeah, so the density is the part I haven't covered yet, but we can go ahead and use.
Go ahead, continue with the density. You were saying.
So density, we went from third density to fourth density.
Right.
And what that means, and when we're playing in fourth density, things move a lot quicker. Things change a lot quicker. There is the what we see as solid, which is not, has less impact in your restrictiveness in how you experience yourself as the spirit having the human experience.
Correct.
So in those higher densities, when you go to higher densities, the bodies are more flexible. They change and respond easily. So what people call healing or anything like that becomes easier, but also moving and shaping what you call reality that looks solid is easier. And the thing is, there's much more movement when we're going into the higher density. So we are in fourth density. We may not be using that because there's still a lot of reference point in the inverted to play in third, and in some cases even two density.
Right.
So that's the difference between the two. One designates form of sorts, which is just holographic expression. And the other one is consciousness. They dance together, they play together, and the body is actually the vehicle that's used to have that particular experience.
Right. Franco, how is all this? The density has something to do with the Schumann resonance. Is the Schumann resonance go hand by hand with the density of the planet?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It affects both, okay? But it is more instrumental in the way that it affects, how can I say? Yeah, the Schumann resonance. See, density changes, Gaia changes the density as the main factor, because what happens is the density of Gaia changes. We are an extension of Gaia, so our bodies change accordingly.
Yes.
It matches.
Right.
And then what we're doing is that the Schumann resonance goes up, because in those higher ranges, it creates much more flexibility and change. So the planet responds,
bigger.
our body's response, all the sentient beings respond much more easily. And this is why you can see changes very quickly in comparison to before.
Well, for instance, I understand the fifth dimension. The frequency band is actually bigger, so you can spend more.
Correct.
Than the third dimension. We used to have less space, so you only or either move to left or right. Let's just put it dramatically like that. But now you can move left, right, up, and down because we're in a bigger band of frequency.
Right.
I just put it like that, so for apples and apples.
Yeah. And the big thing that people have to realize is that, and I know I may have said it already a few times in previous shows, and I've talked about it on Todd's show and my own stuff, but what I wanted to mention also is that, the transformation, the shifting that we've been doing, which a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on, that we're going from 3D to 5D, okay? And I made it very clear, and it was a little confusing for people at first, but I think more people are understanding because I hear more people saying it now. We're actually, this shifting that we're going into is actually from the inverted 3D and inverted 2D going into organic 3D and organic 5D. Those are two separate platforms overlaid on planet Earth. Okay, so both are being played out. So we had to make a choice over a year and a half or more ago, where's your home residence? What's going to be your new playground or platform?
Right.
So 550 million decided that they were going to use their baseline platform as organic fifth dimensional consciousness as their platform, utilizing the higher band of fourth density.
Right.
The other 2.4 billion said, we're not ready for 5D. We didn't really get a chance to play in 3D in the organic form. We played the reversed one. That's why we call it inverted, because everything was backwards. The world is so backwards, and it is changing. So, and we were living in an inverted matrix. We still project part of that, so we still see it. But anyways, so 2.4 billion said, no, we're not ready to go into fifth dimension because we want to experience organic 3D. So we'd love to explore these bodies and the consciousness in the body and what we can do with the body and we'll move into the 5D later. That's no problem. So that's why 2 platforms were done, because originally there was only going to go from the inverted to the organic 5D, and this is why we had delays, because stuff that was supposed to happen from 2012 to 2017 got extended to 2020. And then we didn't ship where we were about to enter 2017 didn't actually happen until 2020,
right?
Because to give another 3 years for people to get through it, but still there was an outcry of sorts to say we'd really like to experience the organic 3D. So we made an agreement. All of us made an agreement from a superconscious level. Okay, you know what we're going to do is we're going to provide 2 platforms. The organic 3D platform will have a time limit. That means we need to be done by 2035. Okay. So in fact, it's like we're only going to extend it for that long, but we're not stuck there. If you go there, you can move to 5D anytime, whenever you feel ready. But the maximum time to play in that platform is until 2035. Once 2035 is, ready or not, it all merges into organic 5D. So, of course, there's going to be physicalities that may not want to go there and they'll leave, do whatever, right? And there's going to be a lot of changes you're seeing for the next year and a half, practically. Right. But at the same time, right now, we have organic 5D, we have organic 3D with the capacity to go into the inverted, which is that needs to be completed. And this is what we collectively agreed on and have full intention to accomplish. Again, I say intent because it can vary. It can go less or it can go a little longer, but not by far, is to, by the end of 2022, to complete this whole inverted stuff so that we can be in organic 3D and organic 5D. Now, are we going to feel that, everything is just shifted overnight? Not quite, but we're not going to be able to go and recreate that inverted world that easily. So what ends up happening in the next year and a half or less, because we're already in September. But what we're looking at is, as you've noticed, we're fast tracking everything. Everything is coming to the surface. All levels of polarity, chaos, and all that. All the systems that have been built on the inverted stuff are starting to become more and more unstable. People are becoming unstable. Lots of different things are going on because it's allowing us to maximize, clear up all of that inverted stuff so that we finally decide we're not interested. Now, there's going to be physicalities, or what we can call humans, that really never want to leave there. So what's going to happen? Well, they're going to either leave or they're going to end up in another playground that looks like it somewhere else and do whatever. Correct. But the ones that are playing in the different dimensions, you're basically going to see the third and fifth, but you're really going to dwell on one of them. So that's the intent. That's where we're putting almost we, meaning everybody, nobody's excluded. It doesn't matter if you're an extra, if you're active, or whatever it is, everybody's included. But we all have free will. We all have sovereignty. We all have the capacity to decide if we're going to go in and out. Now, there's going to be, and there has started a massive trend from some time ago, but now it's ramped up even further. There's a lot of swapping going on in regards to souls. Right. So souls that don't want to be involved in all of the other integral parts that we're going through right now, they will leave and other drop-ins will come in. Others, are going to say, okay, the body's too far damaged. All of this stuff is going on. We're just unplugged, right? And they end up looking like they died, or the fact that they go into states where you don't recognize, because there are souls that actually will leave and then they become extras. So there's a lot of movement, and I don't want to put too much focus on it. I know people go a little bit.
No, I understand. But I'm going to ask you a quick question. An extra can move into the fifth dimension?
once it embodies fifth dimensional soul that's interested in going that, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And the other question before you go,
yeah.
is when you said we took the decision on the super consciousness level,
right.
This is on the soul level.
Right.
Everybody, when you took this physicality, you already signed a contract or went to the soul meeting, super consciousness level, and decided? Because when you're talking about we decide, who is decided?
Okay. So the way our consciousness works, okay, because there's two levels of consciousness. When I say the super conscious, there's super conscious, and then there is the regular conscious, which is basically involving ego, involving programs, labels, definitions, stories, and whatever else.
Right.
The super conscious is made up of three parts. Okay. The superconscious is, yes, your multidimensional soul that can incarnate in other planets that have taken an agreement to play on in that body. Right. The human entity is also a soul, but it's an earthbound soul. It's a soul that only incarnates on planet Earth and keeps learning from the human experience and is instrumental to create a connection between the physical, the human, and the multidimensional soul. Right. So a multidimensional soul could be here for the first time and never really had a human experience before, and now it has to play on this field. There is so much input that it's not used to at this point, and density and everything else that's played. It really relies on the human entity to be able to share and bring it up to speed, because the human entity has been here since 15,000 years ago when the retooling of planet Earth and everything came out. The other part of the consciousness that make up the superconscious, that is your innate consciousness of your body. Your body has an innate consciousness that is the extension of Gaia and all the sentient beings on the planet, meaning plant life, animals, fish, you name it, birds, you name it, everything is involved. So it takes the highest aspect of that and creates what you call a superconscious and active conscious. And then it looks at it because it doesn't want to discount. For a period of time, there was a period of time when the soul was overriding a lot of it. But now, with all these changes that have gone, the human entity is upgraded and the innate consciousness of the body has upgraded. Because, yes, the innate, meaning that the Earth, the Gaia, is communicating more powerfully, more clearly to the bodies. Plus the fact that Schumann resonance went up. We also went into a fourth density, which still opens up even more channeling, more channels through what we call the extension of Gaia. And then the other part that came into play is that, the human entity itself has been bringing the highest aspect of itself in refine. So it's basically been purging out a lot of the old memories, old patterns of so forth that, used to rely on before. So there's all of that coming in. So the superconscious involves every part of it. It's no longer isolated. But the only thing it isolates is the ego.
Now, who takes the decision, brother? Because I know the higher self is always want your best benefit.
Right.
The higher self is the highest expression of yourself.
Right.
It's the connection with the creator. And obviously, but that's another question I have. Since our higher self is an extension of the creator, we know the creator is a being that is perfectly 50-50 in terms of light and dark. It's a perfect balanced being. So if we're an extension of that, you think that our higher self has both energies as well?
Well, there's let me define that a little
Negative
bit.
And positive, or our higher self can actually choose to be only on the light or choose to be only in the dark?
Well, let's put it this way. Let me unpack that for you.
Okay.
All right. So source itself, okay, is completely neutral, 0 point balance, 100%. Okay?
Okay.
It doesn't have no polarity.
Not polarity.
Now, that's only half of it, though. The other half we call spirit is also source that has divided itself. And even though it's all within, it's not like separate to that one went into creator mode. And that one created light, dark, polarities, all types of things, because that's the part that creates. So spirit is source in creation, source in expression, where the other part of source that localize is the field where it just is, and it's complete 0 point, complete sourceness, and so forth, and it holds the foundation base. Then the other part is the part that creates all these playgrounds, creates all these physical representation, all of these games and roles. So can it represent as dark and light? Yes, absolutely. And we have access to it, but it's up to us. But the thing is, the part that gets confusing, that a lot of people get confused in, is that if you play dark or you play light, you're still only half.
So the angel and devil that we have in our ears whispering is nothing but half of our soul playing the creation mode. That's it.
Yeah, so the dual part, okay, that we're looking at is your higher self, your ego.
Correct.
Okay, so the higher self can play whatever it needs to play for its own advancement and for the collective advancement. So this is why we have people that are playing a light role and a dark role to complete, get to a saturation point, to kind of wrap it up, because it's no longer required. That's all. So we can play that, because when you get to what you call neutrality, when you go to that 0 point, when you're basically oneness, you see there's no right, wrong, good, bad. There is no light and dark. You see the whole picture. And that's where you are now accessing source essence before going into creation mode. Because in creation mode, then it can play whatever it needs to play. But creation mode is also upgrading too. So the necessity for the extended polarity is not quite necessary. Not that it's ever been, but it just, oh, well, let's experiment. Let's plug that in. Let's do whatever is required here to give us. So when we, originally designed the retooling of planet Earth 15,000 years ago and created organic 3D with the capacity to elevate into organic 9D, okay, and we only did that for 5,000 years before the modification occurred 10,000 years ago, and that's when the inverted matrix got put in. That's when the ego got put in. That's when the moon was dragged in. This is when the satellite of the moon was activated, and that's when we had disconnection with our DNA, and we created chakras, because there was no chakras then, isolating all the different connection points and so forth. And that's where separation was reinforced. That's where all of that, how can I say, that light, dark, all of that stuff, right, wrong, good.
All those programs, the
came in, right.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Franco.
Yes.
Those programs are no longer exist in the planet. I understand.
Which one? Sorry?
All these programs that we talk about, ego. I mean, I understand that the moon is no longer amplifying this signal from Saturn, which we're not in that reality anymore because of the Federation, the Galactics.
Yep.
So we're no longer being attacked somehow, or
Yeah, so the moon itself is no longer streaming to streaming the inverted matrix, because we had the two. We had the organic matrix, then the inverted matrix was brought in when the moon was brought in. The ego is a software program, which is an extension of the inverted matrix, because you can't play the inverted matrix without the ego. Because if you look at the ego is a really heavy duty story maker, and it's polarized, massively polarized, right, wrong, good, bad, you screwed up, you did right, you did this, you should be this way. It labels, it defines, it does all types of things. And that was a necessity for that. And plus, the reason a lot of those other fragments happened, and also the shutting down most of the DNA, is because you can't stream higher consciousness, because all the other DNAs were still upgrading along the way.
Right.
So as much as all of that is turned off, we're no longer receiving those transmissions. However, we still have a lot of these programs within ourselves. That's why we're purging it. This is why we're going through this clearing process within ourselves. This is why letting go of the history, your story, your labels, your definitions, anything you've attached to, or whatever it is so necessary, because all of it was created under the operating system of the inverted matrix.
And this is where we are right now. We're purging. Right. We're letting go everything. So and sincerely, I want to tell the public, don't feel bad if you're still purging. You're still purging. You still have time. People is like, Andres, I don't think I'm going to make it. Yes, you are going to make it. You're going to move on to the high consciousness level, as long as you care for others. And if that's what you want to be, if that's what you choose.
Yeah, and it's not a mind thing either, Andre. It's not even a mind thing. It's what you feel here, from your heart, from your, highest consciousness. I mean, our right brain is also very tuned, because the right brain is the connection point to all of those points, communicating them and creating. But if you feel that, now there's like, I got to make it, or something like that, because that's the ego playing, and it creates a lot of distraction.
Right.
But the point is, you feel that this is what I'm going to do, whatever it takes, I am committed. And then you take the action along the way, where you're looking at the stories, programs, and instead of getting lost in it, which you can, it's okay if you dive into it for temporary, but always be attentive and pay attention. Oh, okay, I got pulled into that again. What was my initiating idea to dive back in there? What's my pattern? So we're still in progress, even though the purging started back in 1987, and it just kept increasing, and it took another level in 2012, or at least going into 2013, and then another level in 2020. Right now, we're still doing it, but we're doing it so fast, so powerfully. And we also severed many, many connections, the connections to our lineage, our connection to, what's the word? Damn, I just lost it. Our connection to our past lives, our connection to the story of our past lives. We severed a lot of our connection to, what's the other word for it? Akashic records. What is the impact of that Akashic records? Whatever happened is no longer something we need to connect. Now, a lot of people feel, I got to drag it and bring it back in. No, leave it, let it go.
Let go,
because that is not where we are now. The whole thing about timelines, we threw out all the timelines, our own timelines, and we threw out all the collective timelines, because we used to have different timelines with different okay, if I go this timeline, the outcome is this, and this. We collapsed all of that. We only created one fluid timeline. We can plug in, unplug. So that means we're basically in the moment, designing each moment. So even if to say in the future, okay, this is what we're going to achieve, you cannot focus on that, because just the moment you hear that, you've already changed it. The moment the collective has one iota of a burst and a shift, it's all changed. So the thing is, you could say our intent is this, but I'm staying open and I'm working towards clearing out all this stuff. And you could see how all of that shapes. The other thing is, nothing is sticky like before, in the sense, I mean, if you create an experience that it's going to take so much effort, so much time, so much energy to get out of it. No, it dissolves. It's always kicking us in a way, energetically, of sorts, to basically, it not to stick. It's creating a movement. So once upon a time, we may have been a pond, but now we're, what do they call it? A river. We're a stream, and that's moving very quickly all the time. So we can grab lots of bits of paper, but you can't hold it. And that's what's happening right now. So are we, at a point of saying, well, it's too late? No, nothing is too late. We always have, even the ones that have chosen to go into diving into the organic 3D and say, well, I'm not going to make the 5D. No way. We're going to go where it serves us, and it's okay. And the thing is, too, even the extras, basically at this point in time, they're helping all of us, and they are also able to make available for other souls. And there are many, many souls right now coming in that are higher vibration, taking on baby bodies, taking on bodies that, have been here for a little while, switching back and forth. It's not a raid, or what do you call an obsession, or what's the other, body snatching. It's not anything to do with that. It's just basically saying, okay, I'm going to leave because I can't move forward. Another one will come in. And again, it makes an agreement with all the playmates around too. So, and this is the thing. We have to understand, nothing really happens unless we agree to, and we give full 100% consent. Now, this is the thing. A lot of people feel that, we've been taken advantage of and so forth. Well, it could look like that. Absolutely. It can look like that on the surface, and the ego is going to do a really good job to convince us that way. And this is why when we wake up, we see the system. And if you're still not at a point where you are connecting with the clearer state of yourself, you're going to feel like, oh shit, we've been taken advantage. Oh my God, look at the bullies. Now, what ends up having is you reinforce disempowerment, you reinforce victim state. Why do people feel like victim or disempowered? Because they look at the government and say, oh, they have power. The medical people have power. Everybody's got power. Well, it's not true. They're just offering, they're just sharing, but we're ultimately the one that says, do I play with it or not? And if I do choose to play with it, I can turn it off anytime. The same thing with this free will. A lot of people, and you probably heard it a lot, oh, we don't have free will. Well, planet Earth has the highest level of free will in any planet that exists in our galaxy. That's a bold statement to say. But the thing is, we've always had free will. We never could lose it. But the thing is, the inverted matrix and all the playmates that agreed to do that got convinced how to use your free will. So basically what we do is we consent, thinking that we don't have consent. We accept certain things thinking that we don't really have free will. Because the moment you say, wait a minute, I got free will. I'm the one that's navigating here. I don't have to abide to anything. Not in abiding and saying, oh, those guys are nasty and I don't want to play there. No, you go, no, I have free will to engage or not to engage. I got the plug. I can unplug it here, plug it somewhere else. I can do whatever I choose to do. When you come to that realization, you will notice your environment changes. The people that are going to come into your presence are going to change. Why? Because if they're playing the old way and you're no longer involved in that, they'll move away. And you've probably seen it. People losing their family, losing their friendships, losing their relationships, losing what? Why? Because you're no longer putting your attention there. You're no longer matching those vibrations because you're using higher frequency. And you're coming to the realization and say, I got free will. I want to decide. I want to shape my life accordingly. And I'm going to go in that direction. And that's what you do. And then everything around you starts to change.
Right. Well, brother, I'll tell you what. Speaking of the moon.
Right.
The Galactus, I asked what's going to happen with the moon. And they said, the moon is going to become a museum, Andres. Right. And I said, what? Yeah. In the future, they're going to have tours to the moon. And they're going to show you all the computers that you use to actually transmit all the just to amplify the frequency that was coming from Saturn. They're going to tell you how they did it, how the matches were implemented in the planet. And I said, are you kidding me? And they say, no, it's going to be, you guys going to have tours to the moon just to show you how they actually brainwash you for years and years and years. And I said, wow. Yeah. That's one thing I wanted to mention to you. The other thing I wanted to tell you is I understand there is a lot of kids, the newborns, where they're anchors, they're anchoring this new frequency or dimension, which is the 5D. And they're supposed to stop coming in, these anchors, let's call them anchors, until 2023. So in a year, 2 years more. I don't know why. It's an information that I got from Galactically Speaking, but I understand they stopped coming on the 2023, this anchoring. So, we have crystal children, that we have the indigo children, we have all this, which I'd include us, star seeds. Some of us we're playing on those roles. But do you have any input about the anchors, the anchoring?
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. I've known that for a little while now, but the thing is, unless somebody asks and we don't go there, we don't end up talking.
Right.
And of course, you hit it right on the mark right there. The reason they're sharing that is that these higher vibrational souls and beings that are coming in and embodying, young children and so forth. The reason the anchoring is necessary right now is because it's aiding us to be able to shift, and they end up being a conduit. Remember, I said to you, by the end of 2022, before we enter 2023, we are fully intending to purge out all of that inverted stuff.
Right.
Completely. So
gone.
To do that, besides the energies that are coming in from the sun, from the galactic sun, that is coming from the inner core of our planet,
right?
There are beautiful, powerful star seeds and all these other beautiful energies that are coming in that are already tuned to be able to harness a physicality and to communicate that frequency. Once we get into 2023, we've achieved the point where we are doing our own transmission much more purely, and that the anchoring is no longer required. Now, the only souls that are going to come in, or beings that are going to come in, are the ones that actually are choosing to come in because they want to participate, but not so much for the anchoring part, as it is so instrumental now, because there's so much collective, lower frequencies and layers of blocks of sorts, because we're kind of deflecting, and that's coming down, deflecting these anchors are necessary. Now, once the anchors, and I think your galactic will confirm that, you can tell me otherwise along the way, that when these anchors come in, Gaia can communicate with it, communicate through those bodies even more effectively. So there's a much more powerful merging from the highers and the lowers sort of thing, the higher dimensions with Gaia's fifth dimensional consciousness in itself.
I'm getting a big yes.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And that will be very instrumental to the planet to express itself even more, Gaia to express even more, and that will even bring it even further. And some of the grid lines that have gone dormant for a while, some of these beings coming in and higher dimensional souls coming in, that anchor also will turn on certain parts that have gone dormant and also able to upgrade it.
Activating other people.
Yes, correct.
As well.
Correct.
Yes. So they're anchoring all this protonic belt energy that come from the central sun, and then they spread it on the planet.
Correct.
That is the major. Oh wow! That I just answered my own question.
You got it, my friend. You got it.
Hey, listen, I tell you, every time I'm with you, you activate me more and more, brother. So you keep coming back. More will be revealed.
Hey, listen, as long as we can make it happen, I'm all good.
I want to show, since you're here, brother, I want to show your Facebook page. This is your Facebook page.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my personal page. Yes.
oh, I'm so sorry. So
Oh, no, that's fine. It's that's the personal
I
page.
just
And
wanted
then I also,
to show it to the public, especially people that is on YouTube. Let me go to francodenicola.com. Hold on one second. I'm going to remove this so they can see your website. Okay.
yeah. And if they want to find more content that I put up every week, which is actually a full course in a sense, just go on Advancing Consciousness series on YouTube.
Oh, you're in YouTube as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Like if you got to check it out, just go on YouTube and then look for Advancing Consciousness series. You'll find that there's about 88 episodes, but some of the episodes have up to 6 different parts to it. So there's like over 100 episodes, and over 100 episodes are a couple of hours average each. So you have about 200 hours of pure awakening content.
Helps me understand my own power and truth. That's a very powerful statement. It's a lot of videos in here, guys. A lot of workshops that you can take with my brother Franco. Man, you've been doing it for a long time. We're very lucky to have you as a soul brother, my brother. Yeah, sound redundant, but that's how it is. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna remove this for 1 second, and let me see if I can pull your YouTube channel quickly so that people can tune in.
Advancing Consciousness series, yeah.
Yes.
I know you have Advanced Consciousness was spelled wrong and then series, but it's Advancing ING Consciousness series.
Yes, brother. I'm looking into it right now. Let me see. Oh, it's not there. Well, well, okay. You don't. If I put Franco and Nicola, it won't show up.
Yeah, it should. If you put Franco DeNicola, it should show up. I have 3 YouTube channels. And I'm on a lot of different shows, so it'll show up a lot of things. But just find Advancing Consciousness series.
I got it. It right here. And let me put it up to the stream so people can see it.
Yeah. So if you click on the videos,
let's click on this one just to give you people a little bit of feeling. Let's skip the ad. How about that?
Yeah. You can forward a little bit too.
Let's go here.
Know what we feel, what is emerging from us. And I've talked about it before, that the new world that we are unpacking right now is coming through us. We are the ones that are unpacking it. We aren't at the moment. It does not matter. It never did and never will. In regards to whatever agendas, whatever is being portrayed as a way of life, the different layers of restrictions and so forth that are being presented, but really those are just illusions. And it doesn't matter where it's coming from, where it has come from, and what is involved. And, all of the emphasis of it in good, bad, right, wrong, what is evil, what is good, what's light, what's dark, all of that stuff. It's still all part of the soup. Even if we're saying, well, there are different source points, which is true. But the source points, when you bring it right back to its origin and within its field, it's all in the same. However, we have created an environment.
Hey, you sound like him.
And experience those polarities.
We're just going to go ahead and stop it here. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to get connected with my brother Franco on his website, on his YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe on his YouTube channel and just get connected with Franco. Get on his you know, get on the Advanced Consciousness series. Get the seminar. Oh man, the word just skip out of my head. Seminars. There you go.
Yeah, we have lots of workshops that you can find.
Workshops.
Yeah, you can find that on the website. And even if you go to any of those videos, if you look in the description, I usually have a link right at the bottom that takes you to the page that shows you all the different workshops that are there. And they're very, very, like, these are super powerful, intense. There's a lot of information, many hours of workshop with processes and everything else all laid out. And they're very, very inexpensive. I've been maintaining things, like, people that have looked at some of my stuff and they're going, why are you only charging that much? You should be charging, thousands of dollars, because most people don't even give you one fraction of that, and they charge so much money. I go, It's not about the money. I mean, yeah, that would help us, but at this point we want to assist as many people as possible. But what are we doing? We're awakening the knowing that you have inside. Andy, you're the one that's really awakening to yourself with everything that you're exposing to, whatever connections you have. I share what I share. You share what you share. What are we doing? We're triggering people's memories and so forth.
That is correct, because information is there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like the YouTube channel, there's like 100 videos or more on there. It's probably 120 or something. But at the same time, when you're looking at it, mega hours of content, it's all free, it's all available, and it's there to help you or everybody at this point in time to kind of remember who you are and keep you on track. A lot of people are feeling changes in themselves. They're getting confused or whatever it is. And this is the reason that, the content is there. It's like, oh yeah, that resonates. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. This is what I've been feeling, but I couldn't put the pieces together. Now the pieces are coming together. Even if you looked at some of the comments that are on some of these videos that people put in, it's like, wow, it changed my life, or it changed this, whatever it is. Why? Because you're reinforcing what you already know within yourself, and you say, I'm not crazy. Actual fact, there is more to this than what everybody else is telling me,
Of course. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, more and more people is awakening to the new consciousness of the planet. More and more people are interested on when you have that interest of just the act of knowing. That's when on the cellular level you're changing. On the spiritual level you're changing. On the consciousness level you're changing. Everything is changing.
And even what you see around you changes.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, the thing is, through our eyes, through our sensorial aspect of ourselves, it's like going in front of your TV and you change the channel. Yeah. Your vibration changes the channel. Your frequency changes the interest in what channel you have. And you end up seeing that. Let me throw this one last thing, because I think you want to wrap it up, and I don't want to keep you any longer than you. We can go for hours, as you know.
I know.
But the thing is, this is an experiment for people to take away. This is a takeaway.
Right. Absolutely.
If you're having a challenge in your life, for example, you're seeing certain things a certain way. If you just take some time, go quiet for yourself for a few minutes. Right. If you're in the middle of chaos at work or whatever it is, go into the bathroom, go somewhere where you can be quiet for a little while. You close your eyes, put attention on your breath, then ask your soul, fully embody fully present in my body, activate home frequency. Home frequency is the frequency that the soul has in its highest capacity to be able to be activated within your body, whatever state your body is. You also say, I activate my highest level of consciousness within myself, source consciousness, highest level of source consciousness. Yeah. I fully activate and embody pure love. And I now also bring forth my highest state of consciousness from my human entity. And I ask my innate consciousness to merge and to create that new unit. What ends up happening is your vibration goes right up. Your frequency band goes to the higher level of that. You come out of that bathroom, you come out all there, and you may have a boss that may be yelling at you before. You go out there and the boss is all of a sudden nice to you. Why? Because you now just change the channel. Now you're seeing a higher version of that person. Whatever you were feeling so overwhelmed with, now you're seeing a higher perspective of that, and it's not going to create anxiety the same way, depression the same way. All of that changes.
Hey, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you just notice what just happened? He just gave you a mantra for you guys to, you can repeat yourself so you can give permission. Remember, we're on the planet of consenting. You got to allow yourself to reach a higher level of consciousness. He just tell you how to do it. Thank you, Franco, for coming and tell us from the ship. What's going on? What do you have this week? Is something going on that the public should know?
Well, I mean, on Tuesday, I have another episode of Advancing Consciousness series.
All right.
That will be number 89 for the actual series itself. So check that out. Now, there's several platforms for that. Of course, we have YouTube, the easiest one to get on, but sometimes some people have a difficult time. I'm on Facebook. I'm on my personal page, public page. And I have a group called Advancing Consciousness Series Group. You can get access to 3 pages on Facebook very easily, and the YouTube channel. So that will go on Tuesday at 4 p.m. And this Tuesday coming up, it's going to be a lot of processes. Kimberly's away, so I won't, be able to interact with the people the same way. So I will be doing some process that I didn't do last time. I gave everybody a simple sample. That's coming up. And then coming up Friday, I have it's Franco Fridays, people seem to like to call it. But I connect with Todd Medina again at 5 p.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern time on Friday. And that will be on several of those Facebook pages and so forth. And then I usually post it on YouTube. And I will post this on my YouTube too. I will promote all your stuff, and I've shared everything on yours. But the only place I can't move your video on is to the YouTube. So I just post it separately.
Well, this video is going to Rumble. So say hello to the Rumble people.
Yeah, that's you.
We're going to, I'm going to upload it later. I'll send you the link so you can see it. We're actually 144 Club is in Rumble, Tales from the Ship. So I'm inviting everybody to go and just subscribe, come and watch the videos. We're gonna go live in Rumble soon. I'll figure it out next time that I see you. We're gonna be live in 3-4 platforms at the same time. So, Franco, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I know that you're working in your house. I know you just make it this gap, so because I know you're very busy. But thank you for coming, brother. I'll see you on the ship, and I invite everybody to go and his ship, Advanced Consciousness Series or group, whatever. Just go and sign up, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys on Monday. Okay, I'll see you, Franco.
Take care, my friend.
Take care,
everybody.
Love and light to everybody, and remember, just allow yourself to be happy. All right, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, brother.